It's in an era of collecting of money, the state power distributor has also been very wild about collecting. I think it was how much billion? 5.7 billion CDs audit. And the ECG, Dubik Mahama, is here just for a few minutes of conversation around how it's going. And if you have any question for him, he will answer. So you said to me and the others when you started that you were going to try as much as possible to collect your 5.7 billion. And we're in the last week of the exercise. How much have you managed to collect?
I want to be able to announce the figure specifically somewhere next week.
Okay.
So I would say right now we're actually in excess of 2 billion.
Okay.
And counting.
So it's work in progress.
It's work in progress. So by next week there'll be a formal announcement as to what because it's been a month. And certain places you go, they tell you, oh, give me about a week, or give me about 2 weeks. But in this final week, the last stretch, there are no more excuses. You go off. So now, the funny thing is that everybody gets the realization when they go off and they have to now buy diesel. They realize how cheap
power is.
Yeah, so this week, that's the conversation that's going to be had. We are supposed to end 20th, which is today.
Today is the last day.
Yeah, but tomorrow is Friday, so today we'll have a conversation.
In terms of regional distribution, I noticed Netco is also doing this.
Yes.
So it's a sister company.
Yes. But Netco is more of on the northern part of Ghana.
Yes.
So ECG starts from the south and ends around Brong-Ahafo. So we are using the old regional map from Brong-Ahafo all the way up to Volta region. Yeah. So it ends.
And then from north, upper east, upper west, northeast, all of that is Netco.
Oh yeah, all of that is Netco.
I see. In terms of distribution between residential, commercial, and industry, how has this exercise been targeting? Are you targeting all three?
All three. So that's why we are all administrative staff. That's why the whole the office from top to bottom, everybody's out. Everybody's job description just changed to revenue collection, and then we all stepped out. So it's not like there's a special incentive or whatever. It's just that we've decided to change and then run a lean kind of stuff in certain critical service provision areas. But everybody's putting in their shifts.
But who owes you more between residential and commercial and industrial users?
It'll be commercial and industrial.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where the big bucks are.
Because they owe you for volumes they use.
Massive.
So even though there may be more individual families owing, it's not as much as...
They constitute almost about 40% of ECG's monthly revenue.
Okay.
So in total, the 40% of ECG's power sold is with industry.
Yeah. One thing that's bothered me about the residential one is the issue of meters. So yes, if you go to a company that has bypassed and is using power and not paying, it's understandable. But if somebody has a meter that is not functioning, most people don't know the difference between a generator and a transformer, right? So if ECG comes to your house and gives you a meter, and then the meter is faulty, why should the person who is in the house be at fault? Why should he be shamed? Is it not your company's property that is malfunctioning?
So when it's malfunctioning, you have to report it. If we don't have stock, we put you on a flat rate until we have the stock, and then we replace. You cannot take that decision on your own. When you take that decision on your own, how do you determine what you pay? Because there's a calculation before you are put on a flat rate. There's a history of your consumption. Some of the gadgets in your home are looked at to determine if your consumption pattern, and then your flat rate is determined for you until such a time that there's a new meter, then the problem is solved. But if you don't do that and we come in, when are we to start the calculation from? Then that's where the whole conversation starts.
But can't the meter tell you?
The meter, you said the meter has gone off.
No, it's faulty.
It's faulty. So if it's faulty, then it's not working or it's not reading well.
Yeah.
So we cannot rely on it. We can rely on it up to when it started becoming faulty. So when you go into the system, you see the person's purchase history and his consumption and all of that. Then you can use that to generate an average for the person to be paying until you replace.
But we have heard cases where people say they've also written to the ECG, tried to report faulty meters, and ECG has not responded.
It's true. You know what? Let me just take this opportunity to apologize to our customers. You understand? We've fallen short of the service we promised to provide. It's a shared responsibility because it goes both ways. The requisite revenue coming in is not there. So we cannot actually give the top-notch service that we are promising.
Okay.
It's more of the fact that both of us have to do the right thing at the right time so that it will all meet together for it to have that harmonious service provision. For example, you take 10 customers. 5 postpaid, 5 prepaid. That's the ratio. Out of the 5 postpaid, 2 are paying and are good customers. The other 3 are not even paying at all. And again, they've bypassed the postpaid meter to some extent. Now you come to the prepaid meter, all 5 are paying, but 2 of them are the good ones who are paying exactly. They haven't touched the meter. The other 3, there's a meter bypass, there's something. So whatever he's paying, he has decided how much he's going to be given to ECG. Let's not forget that there are some people who even in building their homes have created the bypass in the walls. So it's not easy to determine it from the naked eye. So steps are being taken quickly to solve this problem. Look, the problem of illegal connections, it becomes illegal when you've not spoken to ECG. If ECG actually does that for you and gives you a paper to that effect, because whenever we do it for you, we give you something to show that we were there to do it. You understand? But when we don't do that, then it becomes illegal. Then now the calculation becomes a problem, because unless you can demonstrate that you have a bucket at the back of your house and you were collecting the electricity to put into it and keep it for us, and then when we come, you say, this is it, we should take our thing. You understand? But if we can't do that, then how do we determine? And how
the other one I have is the issue of so-called fake meters. Again, I see Fredu who come and report and say, oh, ECG has said there's a number of fake meters in the estate. How does a person use a fake meter?
You see, again, because of the gaps in the work we do and how our situation got bad, we haven't actually even procured meters in about a year now.
Okay.
So it has allowed for people to also decide to close the gap in the business that you've opened up. So people have come in with meters from Burkina Faso, Togo, all over. So these meters don't even synchronize with our system for power purchase. And then now they tell you that, oh, this is a new meter that's in the system. This meter, if I sell it to you, you don't have to pay for electricity. That's it. And that's that.
Samuel, if I want to build a house, I go to ECG for a meter.
Yeah.
And I apply for a meter and the meter delays. So if somebody from ECG tells me that, oh, I have a meter coming, how will I know? How will I know?
It's assumed that the meter is from ECG. Bernard, every meter that is from ECG has inscriptions. The ECG logo is on it. And then also has, that says, property of the electricity company of Ghana. When you are getting a meter and it doesn't have all of these inscriptions, where are you getting the meter
but can't
from?
people put a fake property of ECG on a meter?
So if
you can put a
so if they put it on it for you and it's a prepaid meter, how do you vend? Who's your vendor? How do you buy power? If it's a postpaid meter, how do you pay? You cannot have.
So you're saying that if there's a fake, you're trying to say that if there's a fake meter in your house, it has to be your fault?
I'm not saying it's your fault, totally. You know, I started by saying that, look, we are a service provider. The problem is 50-50. We cannot drop the problem solely at the doorstep of the customer. Okay? But now, if you've been to the ECG office, they say they do not have a meter. We do not have stock. ECG says we do not have stock. Be patient. We'll get in touch with you. And then somebody else offers you something, which doesn't follow the proper channels. Because the moment you are given a meter from ECG, an account is created. A meter number is logged in. There are certain steps that are enshrined on you to make sure that you can actually see or you've been registered properly. Okay? If those things are absent, then you have a problem. So it's a 50-50 thing. It doesn't only stop and become a problem of ECG. More so, it's also enshrined on you as the customer.
I ask this because, you see, I am fairly educated. And I'm not even sure that the meters in my house, I know that there are different houses I've gone to. The meters even look different. So I'm not even sure if somebody is giving me a wrong meter, I will be able to tell. Now, if you take the typical Ghanaian, the average Ghanaian who may not be that well, like a meter is not like bread. A meter is a very sophisticated thing that you have. So I find it problematic when ECG comes to somebody's house, does a check with their own device, and determines on his own that this person is doing the wrong thing, and then claims that the person is a criminal. Right now, because it's a technical thing, but it seems to me as if you have become like a judge in your own court, which I find a bit problematic. In the way some of the people are being hounded.
So the thing is this.
I have the app.
I have the app. So you purchase from the app?
Yes, I have the app.
Okay, so
yes, where's my app?
I don't. My the kind of meter I have doesn't.
The app I have.
You use the card to purchase. So give me about a month. You start using
the app I have is called Power App.
Yeah.
Power App.
I want to show you something. I want to
The
demonstrate
process ends
something
with paying.
No, I want you to do something for me. Respond to this for me.
Okay.
Write
I
it
should
for me.
put it on the. Okay.
Write on the paper for me.
Okay.
The one that you use on the Power App.
Okay.
The one that you use to log in on the Power App.
Mr. Mahama, okay, you just finish. I just want
to answer your question. Look, there are people who have even registered mobile money accounts with the name ECG cash payment point. That's how sophisticated this whole fake meter business has become.
Let me get it right.
Do you get what I mean? To the extent that they are able to, I always say it's a shared thing. But at the end of the day, this person has done something that you would believe that he works at ECG.
Yes.
You understand? And you'd have no recourse to doubt him. So you've ended up purchasing something that in your belief is the right thing, but it's wrong.
I'm in the app.
You are in?
I'm in the app, yes.
Okay.
So whilst you are talking, we are doing demonstration.
So in that line or in that vein, what is the ECG doing to avert the minds of the general public to know that, okay, if I go to the ECG office and somebody pulls me to the side and says, oh, I will give you a meter.
Yeah.
What are you telling them to know that?
It's a good question. For example, do you do adverts to say,
yes, they should learn to
ECG
say no.
customer, anytime you see a meter, it must have ECG this. Anytime somebody sees you at the office and tells you that this is wrong, like this public service announcements they do, like don't buy fake drugs. I remember when I was very young, they used to do an advert and say if you buy a cassette without the embossment, Bandex is fake. Don't you think that ECG needs to do such a thing for people to know that anybody who gives you a meter which doesn't have this, which doesn't have that, which doesn't have this is wrong, so that then the public is aware?
So I agree 1000%. There's some level of education that hasn't been completed. So there's that gap in the communication with our customers, which has led to this unfortunate incident. I issued a memo somewhere last year to ECG staff in the field that when you identify these meters, capture them, let's create an account for all of them, and let's start doing the right thing before we consider replacing them. We do admit that we've created this problem. We are partly to be blamed in the problem that has been created. And so, in as much as it's a fake meter, it's a foreign meter, we are trying our best to use it to close the gap as quickly as possible, and then we can take it from there. So I think it was somewhere around the moratorium, which was somewhere last year, I gave that order out. So with the fake meter conversation, the truth of the matter is that means if the person has a fake meter, that means he's not even on our service.
Okay.
That means we don't even know him. All of these things have led to a know your customer drive that we are.
So you are killing like two birds with one stone.
Exactly. Because clearly that means that the 4.5 million customer base that we have is wrong. So we need to do our best to close the gap and know our true numbers.
Okay.
We finished the Kwabenya exercise, closed the book on Kwabenya, realized that we had about 15,000 new customers in Kwabenya that were not in the system.
Wow.
So
and all these people were enjoying power.
They are enjoying power. So that means
Is
you
it
and I are
possible
paying for them.
is it possible they were paying but the money was going to somebody else?
You see, that's a whole investigation conversation.
Because that may also be
that's
possible.
also possible. You understand? So we've looked at all of that. You can find out there. So we do not want to speculate. We've found a solution to it. They have been captured. The right thing is being done to make sure that they pay. Because as for zero, it's not a conversation. You have to pay.
Right. I want you to address a story in the news before I take comments from the public.
Yeah.
So this story came in the Herald yesterday, and I think it's the same story that has come in the Anchor today. The Herald says ECG's collected revenues heading into private pockets, and according to the story, you would or you intend to outsource the debt collection to private companies after you finish this exercise tomorrow, despite recovering a lot of the 5.7 billion. Now, that story is repeated probably verbatim here in the Anchor as well.
It's quite sad because in this modern day and age, sometimes if you don't understand something, ask. You being so quick to write something that you didn't even understand beats my mind. If money is easy to collect and I've collected the easy money, why would I give it to somebody to collect? That's the easiest thing. There, you have a customer out there. It's so easy to collect the money. Why would I give it? The conversation we had, and this is I'm not reinventing the wheel. There's years back, ECG has been doing this. I said, we are going to do our best to collect enough of that 5.7. The revenue mobilization exercise is the sole duty of ECG, no private company. What I said would be outsourced is debt that is so difficult to collect. Now, the cost of going out there to collect difficult debt, sometimes it's not even worth it, Bernard. You understand? For example, ECG goes to try to borrow a billion cedis. We had to syndicate it with about 4 or 5 banks.
Wow.
Now, someone owes you about 2 billion out there. So now you have to find a way to be creative. Think outside the box. You can sell debt to generate what? Capital. You can sell debt to generate what? Revenue at a discount. Because the person also has to put in their own resources to go and collect. And this is something that has been going on for some time now. So if you write what you've written, or I didn't even want to read the article because I felt I needed to address it as I know it to be. So I don't even know what is
the main argument is that you are doing a successful debt collection exercise. And yet you are saying that when you are done, you are going to outsource the rest of the work to a private company.
If I'm doing a successful exercise, I thank them very much.
They are saying you should continue with the internal staff.
I appreciate them. The internal staff will continue doing it as we've discussed. But debt that is so expensive and difficult for us to collect, I will not waste the company's time.
Is this a strategic board decision or is this your personal decision? Because the other reason this is coming out is that they are saying it's your personal decision. That you have unilaterally decided.
It cannot be. I cannot. So have I rolled it out? The question that brought this thing out was that what will ECG do if they are not able to recover it? And I said there are different conversations that need to be had. And this is one option that we would consciously look at.
Okay.
Because it looks like it will be good to consider something like that. But okay, let's take it from the realm of this is ECG, this is Ghana, this is your private business. What's the use of a debt collector? The only time you initiate a debt collector is when you have a recalcitrant, terrible person that you cannot collect from. He's always running away from you. But if the money is easy to collect and you can collect at zero and zero cost to you, let's not forget, yes, the exercise has been largely successful. And I applaud the ECG staff, management board. No decision has been taken yet. It was just like a conversation you and I are having now that it came up and it has been put in the papers.
So do you smell mischief there?
Oh, massively. Come on.
Is there an intention to do this?
Look, it was a conversation. There's no intention yet. But I'm saying I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. This was something that was already being done.
Okay.
So it's something that we will consider because, Bernard, after this exercise, if there's $1 billion still left out there and there are some dockets that can be given to lawyers to collect, okay. If you give it to a lawyer to collect, you take a percentage.
So
isn't that the same thing?
Fair game. Okay.
So, I think what's he trying to say?
I'm just saying you should understand the skepticism around private involvement in ECG when we look at the PDS history and what happened. So you should grant the public.
Let's put these things in context.
Grant the public skepticism about, and this is not just ECG.
Let's do
There's
something.
A lot of public involvement in private
let's
companies.
do something.
Yeah.
Let's stop interviewee kind of thing. Let's have a discussion.
I'm listening.
Let's have a dispassionate discussion.
Talk to me.
This is a company that belongs to you and I,
yes,
whether we like it or not. Who sells electricity and makes a loss? Only in Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, when you try to do anything good in any government institution, you have pushbacks. You have people that give it a political connotation. Very, very sad. Which then means that what? Finally, in the end, it will be given to private sector. Then private sector will be praised as doing something beautiful. But why would private sector do something beautiful? It's because they can take decisions just like that. And also make sure that there's a mutual benefit on the table. Why can't we do the same for our own state institutions? Why is it that as soon as you take a decision that is good, let's interrogate it and let's make sure it's for the greater good? You understand? Why is it that anything that's being done looks like somebody's trying to take money away from? ECG has digitalized from end to end. You understand? So clearly now when you take the billing system, you know who owes you.
Okay.
So it's clear that this is pure mischief. We need to be dispassionate and take very prudent business decisions.
Let's read some quick questions. Please ask the MD to respond to this. 1, what was his expectation for increasing the vendor minimum quota purchase from 5K to 20K? And has that expectation been achieved without any regret, given the reported and observed adverse impact including reduced capacity for vendors to sell power to customers in the operational areas. This is from TK in Adenta. And
Let me answer it quickly
yes,
for you.
Yes.
It has been achieved and gone over and beyond.
Okay. So it's working.
It is more than working, Bernard. Look, one of the major leakages in ECG was quota purchase.
Okay.
It's been digitalized end to end. There were a lot of people that were on the system that we didn't even know. They had endless pockets in the system. They didn't have to pay and come and report back to ECG.
Okay.
So clearly he's a mini company on his own. You understand? When we probed, we found out there was a list of over 4,000. Now, in truth, we are making 3 or 4 times that same money that the 4,000 were giving us, but the true number is about 1,000.
Wow.
1,000 plus. So, now, and the truth about the matter is, I told you something. I can take you to the office. I will walk you through an exercise. I will show you what our revenues are. I will show. Now you have data to deal with. That's what we lack. So most of the time,
so now you have a proper means of even collecting loans. So you have a cash flow mechanism that can be monitored.
That is what actually led to this exercise. If anybody tells you that this is IMF driven, it's sad. That means that you don't want to applaud hard work of ECG. Because we took our time, suffered whatever we had to suffer, and got to where we are now. The dashboard showed us where we are leaking, where we are bleeding, and what the billing system is saying. And then we lost our moral high ground of sitting in the office and being owed 5.7 billion. So what did we then do? Say, okay, everybody, let's give this thing a shot in 1 month to see if we can close the gap as quickly as possible to make everybody happy. You know, through this exercise, one of the good things that would come out would be that you will be able to clean our books. Because one of the things we've identified out there is that some of the people have folded up and left. We have Wahom still on our books. Why?
Okay. Let me read more comments. By the way, my app, I've put my data inside, but it's not coming. I'll check when we finish. For some reason,
I have a question. A vendor sent me a question, and they want to find out that they say the ECG has kept vendors' money from November last year till now. I don't know if you can clarify it. And why are you keeping it? And why is the app not consistent? So I'm reading the question.
So read it again.
So the person is asking, why have ECG kept vendors' money from November last year till now?
Let me add another vendor question, then you add it. When are you going to give approval for third-party vendors to continue to serve as pay points for post-paid meter customers in their respective operating areas?
You see, the beautiful thing is that all these questions are coming because the person earns a commission. You understand?
Yeah.
So let's start from that, and let's not think that all these questions are coming because people are being considerate or there's nothing to be gained.
It's a business
concept.
They are worried about the survival of their business.
When you're a bonded cashier, you earn a percentage of you earn 3% in commissions.
Yes.
When you're a third party vendor, you earn 2.5%. Okay, so there's money to be made here.
Yeah.
Now let me take your questions one by one again.
Yes. So he's saying that third-party vendors say their monies have been kept since November. They've not been paid.
Yeah. So again, they have an association, vendors association or something that came to see me for a meeting. All of those things have been streamlined. The steps have been taken for them to be credited with what they claim they had lost. So what we did was to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Because you don't also want to just get up and say, because this guy says this is what he lost, you just go ahead. Okay. It has to go through a proper, rigorous, pull data, let the audit team sit down, do the right thing before we credit them. Yes, it's taking some time, but now because the purchase is seamless, we'll just ask them to be patient and give us
I just
time.
want to take you back a few steps. How did this situation come about in the first place?
So this situation came about because our systems had a problem somewhere last year, and it created a gap for about 2 weeks. And through that gap, we realized how vulnerable we were, and we closed it as quickly as possible. Okay. And now we are where we are now, which by closing it brought a lot of things up that we have to solve, and we have solved them end to end.
How does ECG categorize the cost of power for different areas? Why should I pay more for a public good because I live in another neighborhood? Is this not a disguised tax? This is from Kojo. It's similar to something I asked you last, that there's an area that I've moved into that they are just the meter goes very fast. Meanwhile, and I'm told that area they are notorious for using a lot of big equipment, so the power there is fast.
Possible.
So explain it.
That's not possible. The meters are standardized.
So if I have a 3-bedroom house with 2 air conditioners in Godfrey's area at
It's the same thing. It's the same
and I
thing
move that house to
take.
Trasacco Valley.
That's
Are you
exactly.
telling me that you don't charge Trasacco people more than people? You are sure?
No. Everybody at some point, if you're like PURC, would not, how do we configure a meter to give because of its geographical location? Oh, come on.
Some people also. I don't know.
You
I'm
see,
just
there are
asking.
a lot of folk tales.
So you are saying that there's no price discrimination on the basis of consumption?
No,
Really?
No.
Because I was going to say that if, for example, an area has a high consumption, they probably need more transformers. So the cost of supplying them that power. So, for example, if I'm in Trasacco Valley and the houses are fully air conditioned, so if there are 50 houses, they will need more transformers to reach them than 50 houses in a low income area which may not have a lot of equipment.
So
you get me?
So you see, PURC in doing the tariff, there are tariff breakdowns. They were lifelong customers before they are commercial customers, then they are residential customers. So you pick where you fall within. Compare your consumption. Your consumption will pick where you fall. You understand? Don't forget, your taste will also increase your electricity bill. Aside from the fact that tariff may have been increased. And it's progressive.
Okay.
The more you use, the more you pay.
Fair enough. Let me read another question. Bernard, I use the outdoor prepaid meter at Bawi. The cable going into the meter is burning, causing on and off shorts. I took time to visit the Blekuma district office and they gave me the number of someone who is the only person they have mandated to fix it. For over 2 years, he says they don't have the part to come and replace that small portion that is burning. I have to deal with the danger and the inconvenience when it goes off. This is Anthony from Bawi.
Let Anthony send you back with a message. I must admit that the portion of the work we do has a customer element that we have to have some form of retraining for our staff to reorient them on how to manage these things, because sometimes the customer's expectation when there is a fault has to be quick and be topmost and also be given the priority it deserves. There's no excuse for this response.
So
I must say,
do you have a
sorry.
special customer service exercise? Let's say we are doing revenue collection. Maybe you also want to have a special customer service where after all these media interviews, because I'm sure if you take between Citi, Peace, Joy, all the places you've gone to, if we compile all the customer complaints, there will be over 200.
The biggest one is
And
meter.
segment them into similar.
So that you have
one is meter.
So do you have a special meter team addressing? Do you have a call center?
You have a call center. I'm shocked you're even asking about the
I'm
ECG
talking.
call center.
No, you don't understand. I'm saying that in relation to this new problem.
Yes. So there's a core team that has like a strong room that is taking care of these issues. Fallbacks from the app, because this one is linked to your Ghana card. Because we want to make sure that your debt can follow you. One of the issues that has been coming up is I lived here. When I left, this person was
Every
there.
meter must be attached to a Ghana card.
Yeah, and it's already linked to your phone numbers. So that's your phone number. That's how we verify it. So,
Talking about the apps, and I go back to my earlier question. Is the app linked to certain types of meters?
exactly, smart meters for now. So your meter that has a card is not a smart meter.
I see.
So we are coming up with an SDK and an API that would allow for you to just touch the card to the back of your phone and follow the prompts through the app and purchase, so that in the middle of the night when you run out of power, you don't have to step out of the house to
I
do
asked
all of
that
those things.
because there was a question that came through. Mimi from Pokwasi, for example, says, please ask the ECGMD when the prepaid meters fixed on poles will be replaced. I am tired of stepping out to load credit.
Yeah, so she should give me a few more weeks. We want to get this thing done hopefully by the end of next month.
Talk about meters. There's something I've been wanting to ask. Why is it that when you look around, there are different meters? And the last check I did, I got some. There are about 20 plus different types of meters in the system. Why is it so? And are there plans to standardize so that
This question comes every week.
all meters everywhere are the same?
So yes, there are plans far advanced to standardize it. Thanks to the Millennium Challenge account and MIDA, they set up the meter management system, which has advice for a new type of meter and what the specifications of the meter, so that they can all speak to one specific dashboard. And then also, if you tamper with the meter, you would know exactly where it is and what is happening to it. So yes, that has been standardized. We're not going to deviate from that.
Wonderful.
Let's not forget that the company has gone through so many phases.
Okay.
And at every point in time, everybody wants to make the right decision
Okay.
for the company's growth. So
Because
that's
of time, I'm moving very fast. Bernard, ECG sends someone to read the meter every month. So if the meter is not working, why shouldn't it be the ECG meter reader who should report the fault?
So you see, again, I for me, if you say that it will not be fair, the mere fact that would mean that because of that you've not paid your monthly bill. If the bill has not been read, if the meter has not been read, pay what you paid last month, because it's in your interest to make sure that the bill is always low.
So you pay.
You just pay on account, because the moment it's read, it will catch up with you.
Fair enough.
If you've not saved, what then happens?
But how will somebody go and pay, for example, because if I'm going to pay, assuming I live in a situation where, say, the meter has not been read.
Yeah.
Let's say last month I paid 50 cedis. I don't know what I've consumed.
Yeah.
So when I get to the vending point or the payment point,
Yeah.
what will be the basis for
Just
paying?
give them the same old. Yeah, just give them the same old.
Just make sure you pay and get the receipt.
Yeah, just take the same old bill.
Yeah.
And just tell them I'm paying on account the same amount to the same.
Yeah.
Just keep doing that.
A few
Because
more.
as soon as
So this is clear.
I have time for you,
Yes,
so don't worry.
We have another interview. So GRA is also coming in to answer questions on tax, which
Okay.
I also. But I'll read a
I have
few.
to run away before
Yes.
they come because me I owe them.
But can't you put off their light?
you, Charlie, you.
but hold on.
Put in a glass house.
No, can't you do? Not just a funny question, like a barter arrangement. So you owe tax.
Yeah.
But you also you power all GRA equipment. So,
Yeah.
but have they paid though?
The Jerry, we don't have a
Have they
problem.
paid?
with
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Because like they haven't paid, then you can convert some of your.
That's a conversation.
Yeah.
I'll work with that.
Because if they say they are coming to collect
So you
their
also
tax,
tell them that you haven't paid them. Anyway, somebody. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a
Another
message
question
here.
from
Yes,
Nathan,
another
yeah.
question. This one is very area specific. The gentleman is saying that he's noticed that customer service around Medina and Panta is really bad. He claims the people at the call center or the customer service areas aren't too nice to consumers. They never show up to resolve issues and all. So
All right.
he's bringing
Another
that to
one
us. And then the second question was about, he's asking if it is true that some homes are using commercial meters, especially hostels. I read the question as I see it.
meaning that they are using not residential meters but commercial meters. And what is the consequence of that?
I
Yeah, it
can't-
doesn't say.
yes, it doesn't.
Is it possible for a residential facility to have
To
a
have a
commercial meter?
Yes.
And will that be deliberate or an accident?
It will not be. It will be. So it's two things. Some point is deliberate. Some point is an accident.
Okay.
It becomes an accident when it's just purely an internal mistake. That's an accident. But then, when you're running a business in your home, do you expect us to give you a residential meter? Because
That's
people
a
are
good point.
hiding behind it being a resident. You are running a commercial, a hostel.
Yes, yes.
Isn't that a commercial business?
It's hostel residence. So like if I was manufacturing like
Brother, he's making money. No.
commercial, yes, commercial. So commercial,
He's
commercial.
renting and making money. So it's a commercial entity. It's
get
not. It's not. It's not.
No, but it's commercial residence.
But commercial resident is a business.
No, but I thought okay, I get you. So residential is home where I live.
Yeah, purely home
But,
where
no,
you
but
live.
Samuel,
with your-
please explain this. So I have a hostel of 12 rooms.
Yeah.
And people live there in their house.
Yeah.
Like they are students.
Yeah,
And each hostel facility has a meter.
yeah.
Is that not residential meter?
No, you are running a business.
So it should be commercial meter for everybody.
Yeah, you are running a business.
Okay.
And don't forget, the hostels are for a period. If you're a tenant, you're a residential meter.
I get you.
Yeah, this is a tenancy. This is a home.
different.
So if you go and rent
for a
a
hostel
two-bedroom,
is resident, it's commercial.
it's a commercial
What
business.
about Airbnb then? That also becomes
that technically is supposed to be a business. So supposed to be have a commercial meter because it's not all year round.
because
so-
the tax implications are different.
Exactly.
I get
But
you.
you see, all of this, there's a lot of dishonesty going on in the system. Look, the morality fight that we have now and the level of responsibility that we need to enforce is going to take some time. But it has to start now. Children are living in their homes seeing that illegal connection is what's happening. You grow up thinking that is a norm. These are things that we need to nip in the bud as quickly as possible. Because all of these are leading to massive revenue losses that are not they are not commensurate to the power that we buy. But yet everybody is so quick to point the hand to where there are shortfalls. You'd find that one guy who has the direct connection has about 4 air conditions that never go off, but is the first person to shout, "Oh, ECG," when the light goes off. You understand?
Yeah. I have a question from somebody close to me. Bernard, please ask your guests why they do not bill you online, since they have all our data and we have to go and rather queue for hours to pay bills.
Oh, tell him to go onto the app. Just tell
so
him.
it means
Postpaid
that
customers, all postpaid customers whose data has been
no,
cleaned.
she's talking about this is a postpaid person. Yes?
Yeah, you should go onto the app. Go onto the app.
But what if you don't have the app?
Oh, the star 226 hash.
They should use that.
Yeah, use star 226
So
hash.
just explain. So even if you are not on the app and you just want to use the normal phone,
Yeah.
star 226
hash.
Then when they ask you the question, so what I'll say is that take your meter receipt.
Yeah.
Then all the details that you need to answer the questions that will be asked will be on it.
Yes.
So when they do the star 226 hash, they'll ask you to put in your meter number. You put it there. A lot of people don't even know their. If I ask them, I don't remember my customer number in my head now, because usually the meter number that is asked.
Yeah.
So you need to then take your customer number as well, and then your phone number,
Yeah.
and then they'll ask you to update with your Ghana card, which I'm even yet to
Yeah.
do. So what you need to do is, for those of you who don't have phones that can download an app, you can still use this star 226 hash. But make sure you have your bill in front of you. So every question they ask you, the answer will be there.
Yeah.
By the time you finish, then you are set up in the
this is
system.
the first
Now, just a
time.
question. Now, can this person then use Momo to pay?
Yes, you can use Momo to pay. You can generate what do you call it? You can generate You can generate
Token.
a token. You can generate a pay slip to walk into the nearest bank to
Very
pay.
good.
I wanted to demonstrate it for you on yours. That's why I was waiting for you to finish the
I
setup.
couldn't
but I
get the
realized
custom. I don't have the car. This is not the house I live in.
Look, now we are so digitalized. I'm gonna do something with you.
Yes.
You are not gonna mention figures, but I want you to see what ECG is doing now in terms of revenue.
In real time.
In real time. This is ECG in real time.
So you have a graph.
I have a graph.
So I see that in January, it started coming down. So this
is the month. This is the day. So I get it day by day. So this is ECG on Monday.
Let me see. So on the weekend it comes down and then picks up on Monday.
Yes.
So it tells you that you don't work on weekends
the
that
amount
much.
of money we are seeing.
Wow.
I don't think MTN even sees that.
And this
money.
is
But
daily.
We were not seeing this money. The company was not seeing this money.
Wow.
The company used to see about a third.
Let me ask you, is it that, and I'm not trying to set you up against anybody, is it that there was no way of doing this prior to your coming? Because it seems fairly
standard.
That if you are running a business, because for us here, every day they ask, how much has come? How many people have paid? What are we doing? So that's the standard question we get asked every day. So is it that there was no way of doing this? The technology was not there, or that there was no willingness to do it? What was the problem?
The technology was there. I think everything, it takes time. It takes time and it takes will, and it gets to a certain point in time. This is what you want to do, or this is where you want to start from, or you become a dinosaur. So if you don't want to become a dinosaur and you want to move on and also meet your expected goals and all of that, you go ahead. Because look, if anybody had told me that in my lifetime I will see such a figure as recorded revenue for a day.
Wow.
you wouldn't.
No. Let's be fair. Let's be fair.
And this is a government agency that has been getting out of bad news.
That is true.
People, look, even as you've come on, people are saying, oh, there's a lot of inefficiency, and you are passing it on to us. So are you saying that when this exercise is done, and when you rationalize and finish, this whole conversation about ECG is inefficient, commercial losses is going to go?
Bernard, when you do this, when you talk about commercial losses, there's a so I can say for a fact confidently that now ECG is cashless. We are cashless now, but in May we shall formally go to proper cashless where you don't have to pay cash. But right now the revenue in our offices that is cash is assured by a bank. Because they've watched our trend now because there's data. So by 9 a.m., what we are expecting for at the close of the day is given to us. So we can concentrate on running the company. And then later, if we do more than that, because clearly from what we are seeing, we are doing more than that.
Your minister is happy with you because I think yesterday he joined you to go around. I ask this question all the time because I know that in Ghana, there's sabotage from within and from other places. So your minister going with you suggests that he's very happy with you. Are your staff happy?
I believe so.
You sure?
I believe 1,000%. Look, the level of professionalism ECG staff has shown during this exercise is tremendous. Because there's this sense of responsibility. There's this sense of work and happiness that if they were even misbehaving, you and I would have heard by now. But there's so much excitement out there. There's this brotherliness, friendship that is growing in the company that I intend to build. You understand? So this is something that is not a one-time thing. We are looking at sustaining it for the last week of every month. Okay. Where we all, because we've grown up in a culture where the headmaster has to crack the whip. So as soon as he cracks, everybody falls in line. Clearly, everybody is sitting down. If you don't come and ask, we won't give you. We've done it so well that even the foreigners who have come here are learning from us. Okay. You go to the likes of Norway, India, and co. Meters are read twice a year for reconciliation purposes. You pay on account. But they've also come here. The Ghanaian is not paying. So what do? They also don't pay. The same thing. You walk into some of the companies, immediately they give you your check. Or they go and pay.
Which means they know they owe.
Exactly. He's using the money for his operations. So until you show up, so if that's the case, then what? Every month we have to show up and demand what's fairly ours.
But I'm asking why the app never shows usage or consumption. That part of the app never works. This is from Andy.
It's true. And it's being worked on. The servers are being requisitioned so that we close this gap as quickly as possible. Okay. We just need some more time. But all of these things cost money. Okay. Money that is out there that we have to go and collect. So that's why we stopped the process for some time. We've put everybody out. Let's go do it. Close the gap as quickly as possible, and then come back, and then go back to what we were doing, so that we can move as quickly as possible.
Somebody sent me a question to find out that concerning the defaulters or those who are owing. Well, for example, the person makes a reference to the offending officers at the Super Police barracks.
Yes, somebody wants
and
to
they are wondering whether
because
they'll
some
get
of the
prosecuted
high-profile people that you caught. Is ECG just looking for money? Are you going to go to court?
We are going to court. We are going to prosecute. We are going to court. We are going to prosecute, and in the prosecution.
So the police has been written to.
No. The police has written to us for a meeting
to discuss these things. Okay. So you are not joking.
So
because I wonder who arrested the police guy who did it.
No, you see, the police conversation is quite tricky.
Yeah.
And let's be fair. It's about how history. Ghana Armed Forces has it all straightened out to the extent that they are meted at the bulk meter. So whatever happens in the army base has nothing to do with us. We read it there, whatever. So there's no.
So there's an arrangement that.
So there's no
involve...
conversation of even illegal connection inside the army barracks because this is our bill. That's what we pay.
Yes.
Whatever we do with the power in there is none of your business.
I get you.
Then they realize that people are running businesses in their market center. It's the ECG. Come and come and give them prepaid meters.
But they are not part of us.
They are not part of us. And then afterwards, your system should do the calculation and then bring it to us. Set.
Good.
We didn't pay such a close attention to the police, and because everywhere you go, there's a police station, and how they're so
their distribution is not the same.
Yes, so it's much more something that we didn't look at, and it has led to this. So it's a 50-50 conversation that.
So you are going to leave the police to solve it.
Yeah, we are going to have a good conversation.
I'll read two more questions, and there's a nice summary that somebody has given to what you're doing, which I think is brilliant. Bernard, I have paid for prepaid meter since February, and I still don't have it. The Pram office says they don't have the meter. This is from Charles, and there's quite a number of questions like this. Ben, I tell Mr. Mahama he's doing public service and young people proud. He's doing a fantastic job at ECG. I hope he gets the support he needs. This is from Albert. Ben, a question for ECG. What is ECG doing about the electricity issue in Amanfro area? There's a faulty investment feeder, and the Amanfro area has way too many unscheduled light-offs. I took from Amanfro area on the...
That's an overload. That means that there's an overload because... we will take a close. I'll find out and take a look at it because sometimes in our minds the transformer we've given to you, people have found a way of loading other people onto the transformer. So whenever there's a high load, it trips. So that brings those cuts. So we'll just take a close look at it.
I'll end with this one that I got from Yao. He says the lesson of this ECG move is that it's not always about sophisticated strategies. Sometimes it's just about management rolling up their sleeves, walking the ground, and confronting the issue. I think that everybody will agree with that. I think what you owe the public is when you are done with the exercise to come and share the successes and the lessons, because there's no way you're going to do this. And you need to also admit that this would not have been possible without media support.
Oh, massive.
The level of coverage, and in Ghana, the name and shame thing helps. So you notice that almost every week there's some story about some institution that has not been paying.
I just want to also commend them. You know, a few weekends ago, a video circulated of a certain recreational facility in Ebri and what they discovered. And it was nice seeing that. And I just hope the ECG will interface a bit more
with the public.
For example, I was going to say that this star 226 hash thing, I'm hearing about it for the first time here. And I'm sure lots of people will also say that they also heard about it on this show. So
and then two more suggestions for you.
engagement.
That your call center needs a toll-free number, so that for those who may not be able to call all the time with credit, so you can have a toll-free option. And then
Read
also,
down this message.
they say your call
down
center
the franchise what?
franchise of debt has been practiced in ECG, and Donkokrom was part of that.
So I'm not reinventing the wheel when it comes to that debt collection thing that has been.
So it's not like a new thing.
It's not a new thing.
Okay. The question was about why is it that when they call the contact center, they receive complaints or inquiries, but they don't call back to update? Is that a realistic expectation?
We'll look into that.
We'll look into that.
Yeah.
All right. Nathan, we need to go and set up the apps for our mothers and our aunties who otherwise they have to use the start.
I was even going to show you how I could generate a bill for you from my phone. Yeah. That's why I wanted you to complete the exercise, because now ECG staff don't take cash.
Okay.
We do it to the point where you just pay by Momo, or you get a pay-in slip and you go pay and it reflects.
Okay. It's interesting. There's a very big PRC conversation today that I'll be moderating, and I'm sure the ECG question will come up. So
then you can speak for us, because we've just after this exercise.
I don't work for you. I don't work for you yet.
Or we can give you an appointment letter for the next 24 hours, and then
Godfrey says people are leaving media to go and do ECG, but I can't take this man's job because he's a big man. No, but thank you so much. I think it's been a very interesting time, and listeners, I'm going to get Mr. William Boateng to commit to this, that we'll forward all the customer service messages to him with the phone numbers, and he is going to make sure that his people internally respond to them. Right? I think you need to do this. So, Godfrey, all these questions that are coming have to do with I did this, I didn't do it. At least have it in your database. You are head of customer service, or you're head of something.
Communications.
Something. Because you can't realistically address the issue on air. And the people didn't send the message because they wanted an answer on air. They actually want a proper response. So you have to promise me that if I send these messages to you, you're going to do something about it. Yeah. Otherwise, the next time your MD comes, I'm not going to interview him. All right. Please, I want you to say it on air. Yes, no, say what you are going to do. That I should send the messages to you.
And action will definitely be taken.
Because Nathan, we have so many messages which are so... Yes. And I think that as head of communication, any comment that comes from the public in this way should be... You can even analyze the message and say we have 200 messages. 10 of them have to do it at Bokobi, 6 have to do it Madina, 20 have to do it Kolebu. Do work with it so that you can solve the problem. That's my charge to you.
But to be honest, look, you have to commend the ECG.
No, seriously.
They've really done well to go around, try and collect money, and how much they've been able to do in the month. It's great work. So thumbs up to you guys. But like I said,
so much.
Some more public engagement. I feel like if you engage more with the public, people.
And if you also have the number of your technical guys, so if anybody's having a problem with the app, they can call those people to walk them through. Because the first time I got the app, it was some guy. In fact, I did an interview with you, and then you connected with some guy, and we all got on the app. This is like 7 years ago or something.
Finish the app. It's convenience. It's total convenience.
To make your life easier.
It will allow us to also concentrate on that and give you that customer satisfaction. And then the engineering side will always make sure that the power is up, and then you can all.
Thank you, Samuel Dubik Mahama, the ECG MD. He came through with Kofi Chinese. Kofi Chinese is
Charlie. In some parts of the world, they would say that's racism.
No. That is Kofi Chinese. William Boateng, Kofi Chinese.
That's the only Ghanaian Chinese.
Kofi Chinese. So we'll be right back with more. Stay with us. This is the Citi Breakfast Show.